computer. Hello, welcome everybody. Nice to see you all. I hope you're having a good day trading. And let's start sharing screen. If you are on the, well, you won't see this at the moment if you're on the Financial Freedom Trial Group 7-day thing, because I can't stream live today for some reason. Worked perfectly well yesterday and the last few days last week, but never mind. So once you've joined us, you come into Ninja Forex Traders, as you know, so please look in the units. Really well organized, good stuff in there, very accessible, very relatable, and it's things that we've learned throughout our journeys over the last 2 years, 1 year. So it's a collective of all our wisdom and mistakes, and helping you really accelerate your journey and learn from all the things that we've done through trial and error until we got everything smoothly organized and got all the strategies sorted out with IM, because it's obviously a fantastic company with the software and tools, and that's what we're paying for. That's what we use to make trading really accessible to all, and that's what it does. It's really democratized it and helps us to take back control of our economy. So first of all, we always look at Forex Factory, and today you can see that coming up in 20 minutes. We've got, this is on Paris time because I'm in Paris, we've got 2 lots of red flag news. So we won't take trades on that. But what I've found through doing this session, there are peak times to trade each session. And for New York, the best time to trade New York UK time is between 2 your time and 4 p.m. So I think what happens on my session, sometimes we find some things, but I find the ones that we've discussed and looked at activate just after, some of them, not all of them, after the hour at 2 p.m. So you'll often get either stall outs or it moving against the direction that we want to take the, or we think we want to take the trade in. So I think that's probably the best way to sort of summarize it. So I'm going to try and make notes more carefully this week to see if that is the case. And I've been through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23 pairs. I've taken a trade this morning, and I've also looked at what happens to some trades yesterday. That's some alerts going off. I've got everything on alerts. So let's go over to Euro USD. That's the first one. So you can see it's I'm always looking on the 1 minute chart, because what happens on the 1 minute chart happens across all time frames. It's all a pattern. I will go up to the 15 minutes for chart setups and to see what the trend is doing. So what is this chart actually telling us using these indicators? Now, I always use a confirmation sheet. Please have your confirmation sheet at the ready. Don't mix strategies. You can take quarter theory. It's a very simple indicator for support and resistance, highly accurate and based on maths. And also some people like the moving averages, but you'll have the moving average, that's trading view glitching when it crosses quarter theory. You'll have that moving average built into Kevin's indicator. Let's see if that settles it down, might not. And you want to be able to focus on your own indicators, because if the RSI, for example, or the MAC, or whatever indicator you're using, the stochastic says one thing, it could be that my indicators on this strategy tell me another, simply because it's the way you're looking at the setup or the time frame or particular things that you're looking for. So very important in order to maintain clarity of your decision making and to have that confirmation checklist and make sure that you're trading against the rules and not rushing it, because you'll never be able to turn a $20 account into $1,000 in a week. If you think you're going to do that, it'll be a fluke. It's just not the way Forex works. It works slow and steady, consistently, sticking to the rules and enjoying the process. I've just had a load of YouTube personal development on this morning. I had Reverend Icon actually a minute ago in the background, and I've set alerts, as you can see. So what's happening on this chart? We've had one of my rules. There's the pitchfork, the green one. We've had a break and a retest there of 9 pips. I like it to be 10, but it's done a break and a retest up to quarter theory of 10. So that's one confirmation off the pitchfork. It's got a pitchfork touch. It's now above the 62 and it's above quarter theory. So that is a strong buy. And the only problem with this is, of course, it's got USD, the American dollar, on the back end of the pair. So the euro is the driving currency. So I would not want to get into this trade. Otherwise, I would look at it seriously. But we've got the red flag news at 1:30 UK time, 2:30 I'm on Paris time. So that is the problem with that particular trade. So we'll leave that one alone. But you could look at it after we finish, look at it at the end, see what it's doing. It crossed over at the end of Tokyo, that's green, yellow is London session up there. So it crossed over for the buy, and it's here, it's retesting. This is the 1 minute trend line as it would appear on the 15-minute chart. Saves me switching over. So you can see it's retested it, carried on up, respected the 62 EMA, which is the 1 minute trend line, and now it's broken and retested the pitchfork, and now it's broken quarter theory. Now, price normally moves between levels, bearing in mind that USD news. So what I will do is move the alert to here. We'll see if it runs out of steam and starts coming back down. I don't know what will happen with the news, but that's how you would be looking at this trade. Either that 62 will start to peak and it will turn down. You know, you've got to have your favorite strategies. This is technical analysis using the charts to take trades. Some people use fundamentals, which is when I switched over to Forex Factory to look at the news and the politics. And some people use a little bit of a mixture of the two. I tend to just focus on the trades, otherwise I find it very confusing. I do keep down in this bottom right hand corner on TradingView the details of the 52-week average and the daily buy and sell range. I don't look at it that much because I find it confuses me, it throws me off. I think, oh, you know, it makes me less confident because I look at that and then I think, oh, that's sort of saying sell, but I'm looking at a buy. Whereas really I prefer to focus on the direction of the harmonic scan up all this, or everything I'm looking at, these trend lines, these pitchforks, which are trend lines at an angle off the harmonic scanner, are based on the harmonic scanner. So all my trading is off the harmonic scanner, off that D point, but taking multiple trades because I've put the trend lines at an angle, the Moneyforks as I call them, off the scanner. So I don't like to look at too much news. Having said that, the euro is under a lot of pressure against the dollar. You know, we all know what's going on. I mean, I do follow one macroeconomist, ex-hedge fund manager for Goldman Sachs, now lives in the Cayman Islands, called Raoul Paul. I highly recommend him. You can get a free $1 trial on his site called Real Vision. Fabulous stuff that he writes about where he thinks this whole situation is unfolding, with at the moment a sort of a bounce back, you know, where we're opening up the economies again. The American dollar is so embedded globally that it's very hard for it to fail. And the euro, as we know, under pressure because Germany and the Netherlands, now that the UK has left the euro, don't really want to be supporting Italy. And you know, it's where does it leave the whole of the European Union? I can't do anything about any of that. I could just look at the trades and know that the harmonic scanner is 89% accurate based on 100,000 independently verified trades. So we'll leave the Euro USD, which pinged, and I'm going to close that one. Now, GA is a sell, and as a trade idea, I don't want to tell people what to do. We're not allowed to do that in IM Academy. We're not allowed to give trade signals and say stop loss, take profit, do this or that. The top educators have been told not to do that because you're meant to press the button of your own volition, make your own judgments and decide what you want to do. So we're meant to give trade ideas and you're meant to work out your own stop loss and positions yourself. That's FTC compliance. So here we've got the reason I am entering on the 1 minute is that enables me to use a 10 pip stop loss, which suits my psychology and my mentality for trading. And I'm using a 1 hour time frame analysis. So this is a hybrid strategy. Just because I'm entering on the 1 minute doesn't mean I can't swing trade, stack in entries, and it doesn't mean that I need only go for 3 to 5 pips. So why do I think this is a sell? Well, number one on my confirmation list, you can see quite some time ago. That's back start of London. This is Great British Pound against the Australian dollar. The orange crossed underneath. So the 1 minute trend crossed underneath. It broke and retested that pitchfork. I got in there as I posted earlier. I've been waiting for that. In fact, I started looking at it here, and then it did that. Now note the hour. If you look below, that'll be 10 o'clock your time in the UK. So I would never get into the any trade 10 minutes before the hour, because often it will do that fake out designed to rattle you, designed to make you underconfident, make you think from the big boys who are moving the markets that you've got in the wrong way round and shouldn't be doing that. So often it will do that. And sure enough, it carried on what it wanted to do, broke under the pitchfork with a nice break and retest and under quarter theory, trucked along there, and boom, down it went in 3 minutes. Now I didn't get the full 43. I was actually on messenger call with someone else, a team member, and I said, hang on a minute, and I got out of the trade. You know, I was a bit distracted, so I got out at 20 pips, but it just shot down 23 pips. So what is it doing at the moment? It's doing the same thing again. It's coming below quarter theory. This white line here is the pitchfork. It's done its break and retest of a nice 14 pips. It's below the 62 and it's coming on down. So as a trade idea, I like to always have my price covered by 2 of my confirmations, in this case a pitchfork. Let me just mark this up for you here, there. So I want my price entry covered by 2 confirmations. That suits me. So I've got on the 10 pip stop loss, I've got quarter theory and the pitchfork. So wait for it to come down. So now GA is a wild pair. It's 10 out of 10 on the currency speed. So as long as it adheres to that 62 and pushes on down, then wait for price to move in your direction. Don't enter a trade when it's going the other way. That sounds obvious, but even though you think it's going down, draw another trend line here. And it fakes out the other way, and you think, oh well, I'll get in now then. Don't do it while it's moving the other way. Why would you want to do that? That makes it more likely you're going to sit in drawdown, and no one wants to sit in drawdown at all. It's very stressful, and that's why it's nice. I don't always manage it myself, but that's why it's nice. There you are. It's going now, but oh, internet connection unstable. We don't want that at this point. There we are. It's coming on down now. It's crossing quarter theory. But let's have a look at the candle close on the 15-minute. I often always do this, as you know, and also the hourly. So you want to see what that's telling you. Is that my internet gone, or is my internet all right? You are the host now. I've got some weird gremlins in my system today. It wouldn't stream live on Facebook. Hang on a minute.
Thomas's iPad at the moment.
Oh, how strange is that? I thought I saw that. How bizarre. I've never had that happen before. Well, hopefully, cannot minimize Zoom. Anyway, I'll carry on then.
You're back now.
Yeah, thank you. Very strange. I've never had that before. So on the 15-minute, you've got a nice long wick on the blue buy candle, dropping below the quarter theory. So that's a very strong sign that it is failing to go up. You can see it's respecting that trend line down. That's what we want to see. And that was the 1:15 candle for you guys in the UK. So let's go back to the 1 minute, and you can see it's dropping. So there's a trade idea for you. If I wasn't on this call, I would get into it, but I get a bit anal because I'm on the precise entry and I like to get my 10 or 20. I like to physically draw my lines down. GA is quite a wild pair, but I have been following this one today, and that is a nice one for your, let's see how many. Normally I would go for the 20, as you know. So just to give you an idea, with that 10 pip stop loss, let me take off that. Don't need any more stuff like that on. So if you got in, be nice to have got in a bit higher up, round about that 1.89447. So sometimes I can't put these on the watch list either because my trades move quite quickly. So it's a mixture of watch list for ones that I think are setting up, and then obviously bang, you know, we're in them. Now, if you are in this, once you get to 10 pips, please move your stop loss to stop profit of 1 pip for a risk-free trade. This is a wild pair anyway, and you don't want it reversing on you suddenly and taking you out. So there, you want a stop loss to stop profit once it is down at 89400, 89300, somewhere around about here, depending on where you got in there. 14. Oh, move my trend line now. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Let me grab another line. That was round about 446. That'd be 346, round about there. And then this is what I do. I add an alert. You'll get that on the paid version. And then I put stop profit in to remind me if I'm away walking around the house and I'm on my phone. Once that beeps, put your, where's it gone? Let me clone that, put that back up there. Have that at 1 pip, 1 to 1.5 pips. Now remember, it's a wild pair, so it could well take you out. So you have to decide yourself whether you want to give it room to breathe, leave your stop loss above the pitchfork level, which is about 1.89460, and quarter theory at 1.89500 to protect you against it shooting right back up, because this is you've got the 62, so normally I would leave it a couple of pips above the 62, something like that. There's the wick of the previous high, so two pips or so should keep you safe, so you can play it like that. It just depends on, or you could grab your 10 pips and go, you know, that's a 1-to-1. So it just depends what you think. And then if we look at the levels, it's coming back up now. As I say, it's a fast moving pair. You will get that volatility, and because it's GBP, sorry, you should often have 15 pip stop loss. Anyway, it's GBP, forgot to say that. So it's, you know, you've got to make these judgments as you do these trades more and more. I repeat this over and over. I'm deciding as soon as I get in a trade what it is I'm aiming for. And if I've got in a bit later, then I'm always less confident. But I will try and just ignore it and move on to another one if I've missed an alert, rather than, you know, move my stop loss any more than I should, or not be able to ping off the pitchfork, because it's the pinging off the pitchfork that enables you to use the 10 pip stop loss or the 15 pip stop loss on the GBP pair. That's the, and there's the alert. So stop profit in on that one. And then you've got to decide, are you putting a stop profit in because it'll probably take you out because it's a 10 out of 10, or do you think it's going to go lower? And are you going to, let's put the hull on, see what the hull is telling us for our exit strategy. You know, you're just going to bag your pips and go. Depends what trading you've done today. Depends on, yeah, you see, that would have taken you out if you'd moved the stop profit. You know, it's so hard for me to say because it depends on what trades you've done before today. If you've done 20 pips already today, and I aim for, that's another thing. Trade goal is 20 pips for me, daily goal is 25 pips. So if I'd already done 20 pips, which I have done today, I'm only looking for 5 pips. I might decide I've got more appetite for risk and I might leave my stop loss at the 10 or 15 pips until it's got a chance to pull away. Or I'll say I'll bag my 10 pips, then I've done 30 and I'm more than done for the day. You've got to make those judgments, and you have to know when you get in a trade where you're moving your lines and what your levels are for take profit 1, take profit 2, and is it going to go to take profit 3? Otherwise you can't drive the car, you can't drive the dashboard. Anyway, it's still all on red on the 15-minute hull. So, you know, it's still in its downward trend. And let's just see, that one before would have taken you out if you'd come in up there. By the time we've been talking about it, you know, you may not have got in as precisely. So what I'm going to try and do as we move forward is find more of these live trades. I know I keep saying I'm going to set my other monitor up and do the extended desktop and all that, and I really must get on and do that. And then I can share, I can be doing, I'll get it, I'll try and get confident enough to get in the trades while I'm on the calls with you. You know, rather than I tend to do my trading in London and then look at these afterwards, so that we can actually do some live trading together. It's just I find it hard to teach and talk and do trading because I'm not a trained teacher. So I hope what I'm passing on is helpful anyway. So give your trades room to breathe, decide what your appetite for risk is, decide how many pips you want out of it, where you're going to try and get out of the trade when you get in a trade is a real golden rule that I do always follow. And that's carrying on working its way down. But as I say, it's a wild pair. I tend to grab my pips and go on something like GA, GCAD. Those are wild ones. And look, it's come right back up to quarter theory and the 62, and now right back up. So very wild pair. Okay, so we'll leave that one for today. And that actually went down from there. That went down 16 pips before it decided to turn. So you might want to keep an eye on that one yourself. So that's GA. And let's move on. I had a couple of others marked up. Just close that one down for the moment. So USD CAD, I was, but again, we've got the news, we've just had the news. So I'm looking at this, you can see the oranges cross the blue, it's down past quarter theory, it's working its way down. So I've got it marked as a watch for down here. But I don't know what the effect the news is going to have, because once you've had the news, you can find that over the next hour, you know, it makes the US dollar do something, well, at any currency that's affected by news. But what I was looking at was I'd want it to come down and come through that quarter theory at 1.39500, and then I'd be able to get a 10 pips. It's not a GBP pair, obviously. 10 pips there, stop loss, and then what you're looking at is price moving. It's moving up at the moment, but price moving down to these levels for the take profit. So after the 20 pips, are you going to swing for a home run down to that next 1.39000, which is the next quarter theory, and down to that pitchfork 1.38843. But at the moment, it looks like it's coming back up. Could be coming back up to test that 15 and then carry on down. But as I say, we've got news in the way. But I decided to put my alert down there on that one at the moment. So that's USD CAD, and I need to get better at writing my stuff up. Sometimes I get a bit distracted. So where's my USD CAD? Down here. So I'll just write that. Let me just write that down. 1.39601, 1.395, and put that. So that would cover you on both your pitchfork and quarter theory, and then 20 pips would be 1.393. Okay. So sod's law, it'll probably decide it's going all the way up, because I know the dollar, here we're back into the fundamentals again, but I know the dollar is rallying at the moment in the kind of hope stage, because we're out of lockdown. But I mean, we've had something like, what, 26 million, 30 million job losses globally, or is it in the US? So even if they get back half of those, it's still a very dampened economy. So that's US.
There's also,
yeah.
sorry, Sarah,
No,
there's
no,
also
it's
quite
great.
a lot of medium USD news as well.
Oh, is
3
there?
o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Oh, is there? Well,
Yeah.
that all compounds the problem, if you like, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Oh gosh. Oh, 3, 7, and 10. Right. Thanks for that. Okay, so let's go on to CAD JPY. The reason I've got this one up is I was looking at this. I'm ashamed to say I forgot to get into it, and I think it was because I was looking at that doji candle. The doorbell rang with the postman, so I had to sign for something, and then I moved on to other things. So I thought I'd leave it up here to show you it's moving up nicely off this. This is on the hourly, and I had it on the hourly. I was looking at it. That how that doji finished an hour before we came on. Oh, that's right. Then it opened as a sell candle, and I was thinking of a buy, and then I was off doing something else, so I forgot about it. So this was the scan that it came out of, with that D point from the 4th of May. So in fact, it's quite. I think it's quite a big scan, this, because you've got 50 pips. I was telling Connor about this last night because Chance on Channel 20, back the most advanced call of the week, if any of you want to get on it, is the one last night, and it's at 1:30 my time, so that's 12:30 UK time, or you can watch the recording. But he actually back tested this particular one. So this is where it's the exception to the rule. When you get a scan where it's a minimum of 40 pips per leg, so like 160, we don't have to wait for it to be in the direction of the scan up to the median, the midline, before we'll take a buy or a sell. So normally, if this was like our minimum of 20 pips, i.e. an 80 pip C to D scan with 20 pips per leg of the pitchfork, then we'd only be looking to take buys up until this median point, and then it's fair game for a buy or a sell. But as this scan is something like 160, he said this is you then get into the exception to the rule. So that is 183, 180. So you've got 45 something pips per leg, so it's double. In that case, he said you can take a sell when it's doing this. So it was amazing the number of trades that were embedded in this particular move. And which one was he back testing? It must have been this one up here. And there was something you could have actually done on a stack-in with a 10 pip stop loss, something like 155 pips. It was absolutely phenomenal the way he broke it down. And really good masterclass if you wanted to understand stacking in or using this precise entry and following just one pair, for example. You can really get your lot of pips. So I was looking at it carrying on its merry way up into the buy, and we'll come down to the 1 minute and see what it's doing now. Sorry, just had the magnet on by mistake. And let's move that over. So where are we with it? So our pitchfork now is down here. So and I had a fib on it, which I may have to move. If we want to look at that, let's take that off for the moment. So where's our quarter theory? Because you need some kind of level. So here we are between these two pitchforks, which, as we know, are 50 pips. And normally we'll have 50 pips between each quarter theory. So we should have something like 25. So we've got, say, 25 pips. So you've got where price is currently 22 pips, call it 20 pips up to your next level. So what is the chart telling us? Because it really is so true that patience pays. If you looked at my post earlier on that trade that I did on GA, I'd waited for that, and then boom, it went down, and it went down 43 pips in 3 minutes. So that was good. I only got 20 of it, but that's fine. So what's this actually telling us? It's telling us that the trend is up. We noticed that from the scan. We've also had a good break and retest of the pitchfork. We can't use our normal criteria because it's such a big gap between the pitchforks. So if we want to take a trade in the middle, because we've got this 25 pips, which is be our normal scan, then we have to look at other things to give us some confirmations where what's price going to do. Because at the moment it's just, let's get rid of some of this now. It's just price will always come back to the moving average, and you can see that it is respecting it, and it is trying to carry on moving up. But if we draw a trend line to see if it's staying above it, where are we going to draw that? Because it looks now like it's more consolidating. It's quite a flat trend line at the moment. But as I say, what I've learned from these calls, which I've been doing since last November, but I only used to do them once a week I used to do them on a Thursday till January, is this could well start moving at 2 p.m. UK time. It's gone flat now. Because sometimes I think, well, we've started in New York, and then I think, oh, I remember, I think it was Chance said that the best time to trade New York is, and he gave different time zone times. But UK time, it would be between 2 and 4. So obviously, and it's just kind of warmed up, and after any news. But you want to wait to see if it takes off a bit more. I don't know, I find this one a bit difficult now, because I don't feel I've got enough to go on. It's a very flat trend line. Okay, we can put a fib on it. Let's try that. So from the last low, I'm going to pick that one to there. From down here to up here, as we're looking for a buy. And then it's telling us that it's rejecting off that 88.6. So that that is slipped through there, but that's another rejection, and then it's off the 78.6 because they're quite close together. And if they're, how many pips apart are they? Very close together, so virtually they kind of count as one, really. So what that means is that we've got that rejection off the fib, and it should aim at take profit 1 here, take profit 2 there, and take profit 3 possibly up there. See how far away that is from our quarter theory. So how many confirmations have we got? We've had a break and a retest, but it's quite far back. We've had a crossover for the buy, and we've got the fib, and we are above the trend line and above the 62, but it is just quite slow moving. So I'm still quite happy with that for a buy, but I find it sometimes myself a bit difficult to take trades where I'm not pinging off the pitchfork. It's just a confidence thing, I think, for maximum boost, because I don't like to sit in trades while they just, you know, idle along any more than I have to, because it's just torture, isn't it? So at the moment, that's just an hour of it just sludging along. So it made its move up, dropped back down to the 62, and then it's just moving along there really at the moment. So that's CAD JPY. That's in buy mode at the moment. So if I move that up, and again, don't mix strategies, but you could take the fact I'm talking about this for a buy, and you could overlay your indicator, your BYOB. There's no harm in that, and you could also put your quarter theory on to give you a level. If you've got the paid version of TradingView, you'll be able to put on more than, is it 3 or 5 indicators on the free version, or you could draw it on manually, just using the zeros, and where it ends in zeros and fives for quarter theory. So I'm going to write that one down, because I will keep an eye on this myself as well. So CAD JPY would be and make sure that you don't enter these last 10 minutes before the hour on anything. Entry 7, 8, 8. Let's do that. 200. So that would give you 10. That's nearly 10 pips down at take profit 1 to that 0. 12 up to the take profit 2, and then 16, 15, call it 15, and then up to the next level gives you your 20 pips up there, if it does slowly work its way up to the quarter theory point. So I'm going to write that down. Stop loss of 76681. Its price has moved up, so that's not going to work. Let's move it up a bit more. I kind of feel I'm a bit, you know, should have come off this roundabout here, really. No, here, there. That would have been the entry. 776,785 would have been the entry, I think. But I'll do it like this for the moment. 76700. The stop loss. Entry idea at 76802, but it's moving up. You'll have to adjust it. 76802, and then there's a take profit at 20 of 77.000. But I don't know any more than you do whether it'll make it all the way up. So what you have to do once you get in a trade is decide what protection have you got. We've got a pitchfork covering us here. Is it staying above your 1 minute trend line? Is it still above your moving average? You're safe while it's still doing that. And then make sure you keep an eye on it, whether it's going to stall out. And you see here, look left to see what's going to happen right. There's your 0 line here. Is it going to stall out there and just make it to the first take profit, which would be, if we had got in already, 5 pips. So not, you know, not a huge amount. But that's what you're keeping an eye on, is you know, what is it going to do when it reaches a similar level of floors or ceilings? In that case, is that a ceiling or does it become a floor? And then once it's broken through there, are you going to get up to, you know, your next level, and then the So I just need to write that down. So otherwise, this is what happens. I never write them down, then I forget to put them on the watch list. So 7.6, and then by the time we've come off the call as well, some of mine have moved quite fast. 76902, and then we've got the put that one in 76947. I'll have to have a look at it later. Okay, so that's CAD JPY. We're now in the last 10 minutes. So I had a couple of others. We looked at GA, GBP, JPY. Can't remember what was happening on there. This was a scan from D point from 11th of May, and it's now going out towards the extensions. So I had it marked, that's right, this is one for the watch list, because I'm looking to see, is it going to reject off that rubber band, which is like a Bollinger Band, the outer extensions, the 1.5 and the 1.618, that's what they represent. So they normally, not always, will ping price back into the scan. So I've put an alert there, and this is at that level of 133,000, 133,000 to see if, but you can see it's leveling off on the 62 there. So I don't know whether it's going to make it up there, and then is it going to drop back down to look at that for a potential sell. That's how I've marked that one up. But at the moment, it's on its way up. It did slightly cross back there, but not really, and so it's still carrying on up. And what does our hull tell us? What's the 15-minute direction? The band's in the background, although it's a lagging indicator. So I just want to see if it's dropping back to red, or if it is staying. It's at the moment it's staying green. And we'll see. So that's a good one for the watch list. We'll see what happens with that one after 2 p.m. your time. Just give the market time to show its hand. That's what you're waiting for. It's a patience game. And then I'll be looking to see if there's a break and a retest here with try and cover those, or cover the inner band, if not the outer one as well, and catch it on the way back down. Okay, does anyone have any questions or anything? It's just coming up to the last few minutes, and I know Sharon's on in a minute, and then Sarah Jane, and then Les, and also you've got a veritable feast because you've got Baby Boomer Power Hour, but that's mainly for Canadians, Americans, because it's I think it's 3 a.m. UK time coming up tonight, Tuesday. So that's CAD JPY, and did I have any others to look at that I've marked up that I thought were near to moving? Let me just go back and look at that one. Another fast pair, GN, Great British Pound, New Zealand Dollar. Oh, I had this one marked up because I missed the entry on this one. So this would have been a beauty because it'd be one of my favorites. If I take out quarter theory, you can see there's a pitchfork right behind quarter theory. And sure enough, so you had the orange across the blue, use a technical term, very nice break and retest of both quarter theory and the pitchfork, and then it's now moving down. So that would have been, I missed it, unfortunately. So that moved down to quarter theory, the next level, which it rejected off. So that was 47 pips. 47 pips there. You could have got in just as it crossed under the 62 there to be safe, if you wanted to play it like that. And that would have taken you that was about an hour and 15 minutes. So very nice move there. And you can see how it rejects off, how it respects these levels. And now it looks like it's working its way back up. Now, sometimes, not always, the chart, it happened on USD pair yesterday, 2 lots of 20 pips where it did 2 V shapes. So sometimes the chart will give you a second bite of the cherry and will carry on down. You know, it'll come back up, test the 15 and still want to be moving down. If we look at the 15-minute, just to see what the, can't remember what this scan looks like. Not that it particularly matters. So that's that D point, and you can see this is a wild pair. That's off the 28th of February. That's the scan. I've got it in at the moment. And here are the outer extensions down there. So that was my latest scan on that one, but you can see how wild it gets. So you have to use 15 pips, and you have to be on a, if you're on a precise entry, you've got to have that pitchfork working with you on, you know, when you look at this, it's scary. So that's GN that I'm looking at, or wished I had looked at. I don't know why I missed that one, but there's always other trades. So don't get, you know, don't feel too bad about it if you miss one, because if you found that, you'll find others. Right. Okay. So just finish off with last couple of minutes, then I'm going to stop sharing. See if anyone's got any questions before we go after I stop recording. Just go back to, I know we had the news, just interested to see what happened with the USD CAD. Let's have a look there. So, oh, that's going the opposite way. Fair enough. And what happened with GJ? Where are we with that? That's still just sidling along there. And CAD JPY has decided to drop right back down, but it's on that trend line, but it has broken the 62. That could be a fake out because it's coming up to the end of the hour. As you know, it will often do that. So you can see here, you know, it's trying to push up, but it's not quite making it at the moment. And if we look on the 15-minute, see what the trend says there. So you've got it. It's broken that downward trend there, and there is a trend coming up here. But it has done that very long leg, which could be that could be the end of its run up to there, which would normally form a new scan if that becomes the long extension leg. That in fact, that's up to that 77. So it's moved 50, 100, 150. It's moved 200 pip move there from that outer extension. But is it, you know, you have to sort of say, well, how far up is it going to go? How far up is it going to go now? Is it going to go all the way back up? Okay, so that's where we are with that. And I think that was everything today that I had. So just check GA again, see what, and then we'll finish off. Don't want to hold up, don't want to be rude, hold up anyone else. What's that decided to do? So that has decided to go up, and it didn't. So it did break down there, but then once it decided to come up past the pitchfork above the 62 and above quarter theory, it's well on its way up now. to a buy, so that's moving up. Might look at that. Might look at that again myself in a minute. So I'm just going to stop sharing, and I hope that you found that helpful.